Okay, welcome back to the Twits. And today we are on chapter 24. And remember to do what good readers do before we get started, right? We want to make visualizations in our head, right? We want to create pictures that the words that the author is giving us. We want to make connections to the situations and to the characters. We want to make predictions, and we want to have I wonders, right? And so when we left, the great glue painting had begun. So they were painting glue on the ceiling. So, I wonder why they were painting it on the ceiling. That was interesting. So some of you may have some predictions. I wonder if they're going to get caught. The Twit's going to come home before they're finished, right? So there's a lot of I wonders that are going on here. So let's waste no more time and let's get to it. Okay, so this chapter is called The Carpet Goes on the Ceiling. Interesting. I wonder how that's going to happen. All right. What now? They said, looking at Muggle-Wump. Aha! Cried Muggle-Wump. Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all time. Are you ready? We're ready, said the monkeys. We're ready, said the birds. Pull out the carpet, shouted Muggle-Wump. Pull this huge carpet out from under the furniture and stick it on the ceiling. On the ceiling? Cried one of the small monkeys. But that's impossible, Dad. I'll stick you to the ceiling if you don't shut up, snapped Muggle-Wump. Ooh, snippy. He's dotty, they cried. He's balmy. He's batty. He's nutty. He's screwy. He's wacky, cried the roly-poly bird. Poor old Muggles have gone off the wump at last. I think he could have said it a little nicer, but maybe he's really stressed out. I don't know. Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand, said Muggle-Wump. Do you think he's gone batty? Catching hold to one of the corners of the carpet. Pull, you nitwits, pull. He's being a little fresh. The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire floor from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It's not easy to pull an enormous carpet off the floor when the room is full of tables and chairs. Yeah, I would agree. Pull, yelled Muggle-Wump. Pull, pull, pull. But like a demon hopping around the room and telling everyone what to do. But you couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time when the terrible Twits had to do the same thing. At least, that's what he hoped. With the monkeys and the birds all pulling and puffing, the carpet was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up to the ceiling, and there it stuck. All at once, the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold. So, well, we know that this is fiction, that's for sure. All right, next chapter. The furniture goes up. Now, I've never pulled a carpet with furniture on it, but I can imagine that would be super, super difficult, right? But I guess if you know what the mean people are making you do, you make it some extra strength. All right, the furniture goes up now. Now the table, the big table, shouted Muggle-Wump. Turn the table upside down and put a dollop of sticky glue on the bottom of each leg. Then shall stick it onto the ceiling as well. Hoisting the huge table upside down on the ceiling was not an easy job, but they managed it in the end. Will it stay there? They cried. Is the glue strong enough to hold it up? It's the strongest glue in the world, Muggle-Wump replied. It's a special bird-catching, bird-killing glue for smearing on trees. Please, said Roly-Poly Bird, I've asked you before not to mention that subject. How do you like it if it was monkey pie they made every Wednesday, and all your friends had been boiled up and went on talking about it? Good point there, Roly-Poly Bird, right? What do you think? Is that a good point? I do beg your pardon, said Muggle-Wump. I'm so excited I hardly know what I'm saying. Okay, he apologized. Now the chairs. Do the same with the chairs. All the chairs must be stuck upside down to the ceiling and in their right places. Oh, do hurry up, everybody. Any moment now, those two filthy freaks are going to come home rushing in with their guns. The monkeys, with the birds helping them, put the glue on the bottom of each chair and hoisted them up to the ceiling. And yes, if they get caught, they are in big trouble. That would be my prediction. Now, the small tables, shouted Muggle-Wump, and the big sofa, and the sideboard, and the lamps, and the tiny little things. The ashtrays, the ornaments, the beastly plastic gnome in the sideboard, everything, absolutely everything must get stuck to the ceiling. It was terribly hard work. It was especially difficult to stick everything on the ceiling in exactly its right place. But they got it done in the end. What now? Asked Roly-Poly Bird. He was out of breath and so tired he could hardly flap his wings. Now the pictures, cried Muggle-Wump. Turn all the pictures upside down. Seems like a lot of work. They should have maybe just escaped. What do you think? Uh-oh. Hope they won't get caught. Let's see. And will one of the birds please fly out on the road and watch to see when those frumptuous freaks are coming back? I'll go, said Roly-Poly Bird. I'll sit on the telephone wires and keep guard. It'll give me a rest. Okay, the ravens swoop over. They had only just finished the job when the Roly-Poly Bird came swooping in, screaming, "They're coming back! They're coming back!" Quickly, the birds flew on the top of the house. The monkeys rushed to their cage and stood upside down on the top of each other. A moment later, Mr. and Mrs. Twit came marching into the garden, each carrying a fearsome-looking gun. "I'm glad to see those monkeys are still upside down," said Mr. Twit. "They're too stupid to do anything else," said Mrs. Twit. "Hey, look at all those cheeky birds still up on the roof. Let's go inside and load our lovely new guns, and then it'll be bang, 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 and bird pie for supper." That's what they think. I don't know. Hopefully not. Just as Mr. and Mrs. Twit were about to enter the house, two black ravens swooped low over their heads. Each bird carried a paintbrush in its claw, and each paintbrush was smeared with sticky glue. As the ravens whizzed over, they brushed the streak of sticky glue on the tops of Mr. and Mrs. Twit's heads. They did it with the lightest touch, but even so, the Twits both felt it. "What was that?" cried Mrs. Twit. "Some beastly bird dropped his dirty droppings on my head." "On mine, too," shouted Mr. Twit. "I felt it. "Don't touch it," cried Mrs. Twit. "You'll get it all over your hands. Come inside and we'll wash it off at the sink." The filthy, dirty brutes yelled, "Mr. Twit, I bet they did it on purpose. Just wait till I've loaded up my gun." Mrs. Twit got the key from under the doormat, where Mr. Wiggle had carefully replaced it, and into the house they went. Oh boy. Okay. So, at least they didn't get caught. I wonder what's going to happen next. So, this is a good time to write down your predictions. Think about what's going to happen next. I don't know. I hope Mr. Muggle-Wump's plan works. So, we will see. Again, thank you for joining me. And keep on reading between now and then. And I will see you again very soon.